All right, let's talk real quickly about body cavities. So I mentioned these earlier, and then I kind of just dropped it. Um, so your organs aren't just shoved into your body willy-nilly. They're actually little divisions inside your body with these little pockets. And each of these pockets is lined with epithelial tissue to kind of keep them organized, keep things in place. Okay. You don't need to know all of these at this point. Okay. There's only a couple I need you to know at this point. The most important ones are the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. Okay. Now this is a side view. This is a front view. From the front, you can see that the thoracic cavity is divided into 4 smaller cavities: the mediastinum or mediastinum, the pleural cavities that hold the lungs, and the pericardial cavity that holds the heart. All of these together are the thoracic cavity. Okay, so if I ask, like, what's this whole space, you would say thoracic cavity. Okay, if I ask what's this space here specifically, you would say pericardial cavity. I'm not going to ask you that. I'm just going to ask you about the thoracic cavity. Okay, so just know if I ask what's this whole section, you need to know that's the thoracic cavity. Now, the abdominal cavity is a big space down here, and this includes all your digestive organs, also your spleen, not your kidneys. They're not actually in this cavity. They're actually behind the cavity, right here. Yeah, outside of this membrane, which is frankly creepy. And then your, your bladder is down here in the pelvic cavity. Okay, so all your digestive organs and your spleen. That's all here. So the abdominal cavity is separated from the thoracic cavity by a layer of muscle here called the diaphragm. Your diaphragm is your most important muscle for respiration. When it contracts, it flattens down. So it goes from being arched like this to being flat, and it increases the volume of air, the volume of the pleural cavities, the volume that the lungs have. And so air rushes in to fill up that volume. That's how you breathe. Then it relaxes again, pushes back up, pushes the air out. Cool, right? Okay. All right, so we got thoracic cavity, we got abdominal cavity, and then this little space under the abdominal cavity is the pelvic cavity. And that includes the bladder. In the female, it includes the ovaries and the uterus. In the male, it includes some of the glands associated with reproduction as well. Okay. Together, these two are called the abdominopelvic cavity. This doesn't have to be hyphenated. I just ran out of room. It can be one word. So abdominopelvic is going to give us an idea for how we combine 2 different words to make one word, which anatomy does all the time. Take off the adjectival ending of the first word, replace it with an O, and add the second word. Okay, so we've got abdominal and pelvic. Take this off, replace it with an O, abdominopelvic. Voila, we have one word when we could have had 2. Why one word? Because it's fun. There you go. Okay, let's talk about glands for just a minute, because we're gonna talk about a bunch of glands when we get to the skin in just a minute. Glands are either specialized individual cells or groups of specialized cells that produce a certain kind of secretion and then usually release them into a duct. Okay, now if it's an individual cell, it'll just release it into, say, a blood vessel or something like that. So if we're looking at this duct here, this is a cross-section of this here. Okay, so this is simple cuboidal tissue lining this duct here. Now, in a lot of places, such as salivary glands, we have lots of groups of secretory cells that make secretions that each connect to their own little tiny duct like this. And then there are tons and tons of those organized around little ducts, and then those ducts fuse into larger ducts, and those fuse into larger ducts to create this bigger duct that carries the secretion out. Your pancreas has a bunch of glands like this. The pancreas is just essentially a giant glandular organ. And part of it produces secretions that empty into the small intestine. So we see this kind of branching structure of ducts fusing to become larger and larger, and eventually you get one pancreatic duct that empties into the small intestine. Cool? Okay. All of these, by the way, going to be lined with simple cuboidal epithelial tissue. I know, right? See how I brought that back around? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pause there. I know this was really short, but the next up, we're going to start with the integumentary system.